Okay, good morning or good afternoon, it's nearly now. Thank you for inviting us, and I go through it quite quickly because I think we're a little bit behind. Oh yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay, I just want to introduce the project and who we are. There's, of course, Vincent, who is the leader of the project, and then there is Mari, Nolan, Audrey, and myself who are supporting the group of participants of the project. And I'm just here to talk a little bit about the history of the project. Probably first, who we are. We come from Horizons Day Service, which is part of St. John of God Kildare Service in Selbridge in County Kildare. This is a very large service provider in the North Kildare area and provides day residential and educational services for over 400 people in the North Kildare area. Traditionally, in Ireland, institutions for people with learning disabilities or mental health problems often had and sometimes still have a farm attached where the service users worked. And this work also helped to provide food to run these institutions. And St. Raphael's also had a farm where the residents used to work, but this was closed down in the 80s. And now, with the change to more person-centered services, the focus is now obviously to get people back into the community again, and this fits very well then with the idea of social farming. And we are now in the 5th year of the social farming project, and we first heard about the concept of social farming from a work colleague of mine. And at the time I was working for a different service provider. And I was working with Danny, who's here today as well. And he was a great outdoor man, and we thought it would be great to have him out on the farm. So I asked Vincent if he would be okay to take Danny on for a social farming project, and then we started. And we started in December 2009. Initially, Danny came to the farm, and he came every Monday of every week, and it worked out very well. You come next. In the beginning, it was total informal arrangement that we turned up on a Monday morning, and we just spent the day there, Danny and myself, in Vincent's farm, and Vincent volunteered his time to have us there. And not only was it good for Danny to go work in there, it was also good for me to get away from the place where we usually were in the residential setting, and just to have a day of freedom there as well. And then we had the project going for 1 year, and then I changed jobs, and I started to work in St. Raphael's, and luckily they support the idea of social farming as well. So 4 young men who are here, yeah, exactly, Jamie, and Niall, and more, got the opportunity to go. And they came on a Monday as well. So there were 5 people going each week to Vincent's farm, and it developed into the well-established project that it is now. And because it worked so well and was so successful, Mari was able to establish the Tuesday group. So there was 4 more people coming from Horizons, from the day center, and that has worked exceptionally well as well. And just a quick overview of the farm. It's a small holding, organic small holding on 5 acres. The main produce are vegetables, milk, and eggs. It's okay? Yeah. Okay. Main produce are vegetables, milk, and eggs, most of which is consumed in Vincent's household or given away to neighbors and friends. The farm is not for profit making, but rather to produce good, healthy food for the family and about self-sustainability. Most work is done by hand, so there's always plenty of work to do. Yeah, the day usually starts that everybody has breakfast, and a joint decision is made then what has to be done for the day. And then everybody changes into their valleys and gathers the tools and does the work for the day. And afterwards, everybody cooks the dinner together, and everybody eats together. And usually afterwards, there is some poetry reading or dancing or listening to music or something. Some action is going on. And I just have some photos what encapsulated social farming for us, but I think Tony has much more eloquently talked about this, so I just go through them very quickly. The contact with animals is really so important, because most of the people who live in St. Raphael's have no contact with animals at all. So the great bond between the animals is really palpable there. And also working with nature. Most people would never know where the food they're eating is actually coming from. So it's really great to get a chance to experience to dig your own potatoes. This is one of the most important aspects of social farming. I find that people get the opportunity to make friends there. And it's not only that the participants make friends with each other, but also I think the farmer and the support staff, not really staff anymore, but everybody is kind of on one level, and that's a beautiful thing. Working together brings great camaraderie with everybody. Everybody works together and has a good time. Yeah, especially when the sun is shining. And then we have people learning new things which they often have never tried before, and having success with them. And that's a very important part of the day as well, that people cook together in the place where we work. In St. Raphael's, meals are usually delivered in stainless steel containers, and people never see actually how food is being cooked. So it's a great experience, and people cook the meal themselves. And everybody is eating together afterwards. It's about meeting people as well. People from the community. Yeah. This is Sarah. Yeah. And the plans for the future are, at the moment, we have the Monday group and the Tuesday group, and we would, of course, like to have a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday group as well. But the problem is the funding, of course. In these times, it's very hard to get any funding. But we're looking at different streams of funding. The National Lottery might give us a few bob, so we can expand the project. Yeah, that would be our plan. Okay, I hand you over now to Mary Nolan, who will talk about her experience with social farming. Thank you very much.
I'll start by saying Hans said he started informally, and I'd like to think we're continuing to be informal, because that's the beauty of the whole thing. There's no rule book, it's unstructured, it's unmanaged. This first slide, it's not just a mucky boot. It captures a lot more. These 5 values were thought up by, initially, John O'Brien. He's an American academic who came up with them in 1989. And he would describe them as 5 valued experiences that all citizens value really, really well. And just to elaborate on them, the first one is sharing places. Sharing the ordinary places of community life at the same time as others do. was at a conference recently, and this guy, David Pitoniak, described us all as being social beings. And he said that, and it stuck with me here, loneliness is the greatest disability anybody can have. So sharing places is so valuable. The next point is belonging. That's developing a wide range of relationships with people with and without disabilities, and people that are not paid to be in these people's lives. That's very important. The next point is being somebody. It's being respected by others and seen as a valued person who has positive roles to play in their life. Choosing. Making choices, big and small, in all areas of your life. Contributing. Being given an opportunity to contribute your gifts, your talents, and your passions, ideas and opinions to others in the community. I think we capture those 5 valued experiences each and every day we go down to Vincent's farm. Okay? We are stuck. Okay. The next slide is just, it's been mentioned already. It's a report that was brought out by the HSE in 2012, looking at day services, how they were over a number of years, how they were, how they are, and looking forward to how they should be, using best practice and using international experience. The unofficial findings of that report were service users saying, we're bored, we've nothing to do, bring back contract work. New Directions is a huge document. I haven't had a chance to read it, thanks be to God, but I just took up some of the... I wouldn't be in this position if I had time to read it, I think. So it mentions 12 personal supports that they would like to see in place for everybody with disabilities. And they are making choices and plans. This project is totally driven by participants. An example of that is one of the days, Esmond, who loves sawing wood, he was sawing, and I said, Esmond, for God's sake, will you take a break? And he said to me, Mary Nolan, I have found something that I'm good at. I have no intention of stopping. So... The second point is making transitions and progression. It's creating a beautiful opportunity for some of our people to grieve in a way they hadn't before for things and people they'd lost, and to move on. It's a very intimate place. That's happening in a very powerful way. Inclusion in community. It's important that it's the same time as everybody else, you know. And a true test of inclusion is if somebody doesn't make it on a Monday or Tuesday, there's an awful sense that they're missed. And inclusion, we get to visit Vincent's neighbours. One of our guys couldn't see him for a while one of the days, and when I went up to the road, the post office, the postwoman had stopped to put in the post, but when I came on them, one of the guys had got to turn off the engine, the window was down, and they were having a big chat. So these are ordinary things, but they're not readily available to people in services. Maximising independence speaks for itself. It's about building old and finding new skills. Personal and social well-being. There's a time to grow in this space. There's freedom of speech. People take ownership. One of the guys sent me out to Vincent one of the days, and he said, tell that man I'm not coming out to him again unless he cuts his thistles. And ask him to put in a few of the bulbs, you know, that weren't working. So it's about, I know he wouldn't say that in his residence, so it's lovely he's taking ownership. It's true, isn't it? Yeah. And once again, it's all about having no rule books. It's unstructured, it's unmanaged, so everything blossoms. All those things paralyse. So we don't want rule books. Keep them all away from us. The next thing is personal expression. There's a lovely sense that people feel safe to confide, safe to complain and question things. There's a huge element, there's a huge dignity of risk. We take risks on the farm that wouldn't be allowed maybe in services, like using a handsaw. Then we have such fun on the farm. There's regular outbursts of poetry or singing and dancing, and that's how more better way to show your personal expression. The seventh thing is having meaningful roles, which speaks for themselves. It's about, what a greater role could you have than to be able to cook your own dinner, to be a gardener, to be a friend, to make tea for a friend. These are all ordinary things. Influencing service practice. I think that our men here are leading the way they want to go with their lives, and their families are supporting them. And management are starting to cop on, which is, they're slow, but they're getting there. So that's influencing service practice. I found this lovely quote. I don't know where I found it, but today is all about capturing the essence of an ordinary life. And I think this is nice reflection. The ordinary acts we practice every day in our homes are of more importance to the soul than their simplicity might suggest. And that's Thomas More. So what is ordinary? I was going to go through dictionaries to think, how will I capture what ordinary is? And then I decided I would use an applied definition. So, thank God you changed that. That word was beginning with S. Okay, so walking in cow dung. That's an experience that most of our people wouldn't get until they went out to the farm. Patting down an old cow. These cows are very famous, but there's a lovely bond and there's something, it's about relationships as well. Fortuna. Is that Fortuna? So the applied definition of ordinary down on Vincent's farm is making a pot of tea by yourself, choosing your own mug that you want to drink out of. These are all things that don't happen in services. Where we work, their tea is poured out and the tea is milked. They don't get those opportunities. How ordinary is that? Chopping wood and putting it on a fire. Visiting neighbours' homes. Chatting the postman. Deciding what to do today yourself, not being told. Play music that brings back memories from home. Wiping sweat off your forehead for the first time. The final point is the end of silent bus trips. Now there's a purr of conversation going on because relationships have started to happen. And if there is silence, it's a really peaceful one. I want to conclude by just I grasped the comments and observations of the major stakeholders. So this is just some of the comments from staff about the people who they've observed coming farming. Their ability to focus and take ownership. Keep him going. He loves it. He's so happy. It's a new interest that keeps him motivated and willing to participate. I've never seen him so happy. The last point is mine. Initially, we started off with the farmer, the service users, and the staff, and they're all labels. Now they absolutely have disappeared. I don't know what we are other than a group of people who get a lot from being together. I'm delighted those labels are gone. Family observations. We hope he can keep farming. There's a huge difference in him. Delighted to hear he's cooking like he did at home. Delighted to hear him talk about and share memories of his parents who farmed years ago. Make sure he gets going as long as he wants to. This is my favourite, the participants' own words of what social farming is for them. The farm has changed my life. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm a new man. It's the best time of my life. It'll never be forgotten. I'm so happy. When can we have champagne? Can I come here until I'm 90? That says a lot. We are never ever going to let Vincent retire, even if he calls a friend. Thank you. I'll hand over to Vincent.
Well, thank you very much. And it's very hard to follow on from such beautiful speakers earlier on. So it's all a bit of a foreign language to me, speaking in public, but we'll have a little go at it. First of all, I would like to thank Hans very much for introducing me to this beautiful vision of social farming and bringing Danny down first. And it's just great to see Danny here today with all his friends again, because we missed him a lot. What I love about it most is the beautiful energy and that lovely enthusiasm and the new eyes that the people bring. And all these young men, they come with such positivity and such eagerness to do the little chores and tasks on the farm. And it has a profound effect. I find it very fulfilling. And I think that, for all of us, getting our fingers in the soil has a great healing effect. And touching animals is something that historically we would have done all the time. But at the moment, we're very impoverished as a people if we don't have this contact with the earth. And I think that some of us are very deeply wounded as a result of it. And certainly, when these young men come, it's just remarkable how all the animals get such attention and love. And I think that the animals pick it up instinctively, that lovely calmness and tranquility that oozes from the young men coming to visit. And it's almost as if they know it's Monday and Tuesday, because certainly when you have that great capacity of living in the now, which most of the young men do, it has a profound effect on everybody around. I think it was Leo Tolstoy who said that if you want to be happy, just be. And certainly that's one of the greatest things that I get from it is that beautiful calmness and there's none of that clutter all goes. You could have so many things going on, but it's all about touching the cow or having new eyes and being really present, which I find that Monday and Tuesday is certainly for me. And it's all about that lovely friendship that we've developed. We've developed a great bond together, and we're all great friends now. And I'm certainly, I'm certainly a richer person from my soul, because I feel that it's just great opportunity to make such deep relationships. I think that certainly traditionally there was always a place at the farm table for everybody, and it's great that we were all able to share that place. And as we spoke earlier on, as Tony very eloquently put earlier on from his observation from visiting that day, it's certainly not all about just doing all chores. It's about going in and preparing the meal together and having lots of fun and laughter and putting on records and everybody dancing as well. Although I'm not a good dancer, but Danny taught us that. Danny used to dance when he came first every day after dinner. And certainly, that lovely exchange of soul essence that we have, and when we touch it, when we're out in the non-human world, which there's a little bit of a glimpse of being with the animals and the cats and the dogs, and it gives us a great gift. For me, it's been very rewarding. I find it really fulfilling. It's probably one of the best things I've ever done from a work point of view. I get so much more back from it. I really love it. Yeah. Thank you very much.